Coffee. I'm gonna go through this. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and More. My name is Nancy, and today I'm here to do an Aquarius Rant. It's where I share my experiences, my revelations, and I complain and vent. And then I'm also going to, if time permits, read the tarot cards. When I consult the tarot cards, I will be consulting them for hopefully all 12 zodiac signs. And what I'm looking for is just whatever messages the cards have to share. So during this part of my video, I'm going to talk about the current experiences that I'm witnessing. So this is my TMI, my Aquarius Rant, first and foremost. If you follow me, you know I have not been making many videos at all lately since all of this quarantine stuff started. And it's a reason behind that. One reason is that personally, I've been insulted by a lack of, publicity for my channel. And I know that's YouTube. And then there's also the insult of not being supported, literally, monetarily. So that's one thing. The next reason I haven't been making a lot of videos is because I was witnessing here on YouTube other people's content, and I again was insulted to see people being backed when they were offering I say misleading information, or it was just crappy. And so that really had me down. The next thing is that I watched everything that I foresaw come into existence. So at the time when I stopped making videos, it was really nothing for me to talk about. I shared that I felt like we were all walking into a new experience. And since that time, that's what I've been doing. I've been experiencing, I've been witnessing. I have not been consulting the tarot, nor very much dealing even with astrology. I've just been experiencing, just living and witnessing. And how can I say this? Because I don't have anything outline or anything like that. So I'm just, shooting from the neck. Since all of this pandemic stuff, coronavirus stuff, quarantine stuff has begun, I've been witnessing the fall of man. One of the last videos I made was called The Icarus Effect, where I talked about how man will not admit his fall. And so that's kind of where I want to start at today. Because again, I've been witnessing what's taking place during our current events. And I have to go back further in my channel. About 3 or 4 years ago, I made a series of the videos, and they were called Descent into Hell. I also made a video called The Purple Panic. I made a few of them. Your ass is grass due to the world's greatest pyramid scheme. All of these videos I made talked about how there was a possibility that humanity would descend down into hell, while many others were talking about the ascension. Humanity was offered and has been offered an opportunity to ascend. I have gone into detail about what it means to ascend, about the ascension process. versus the awakening is to become aware of our realm, aware of our constructs, aware of the truths relative to living in this life. And once you got all of that information and you're no longer blind, then you can make a decision if you want to be a better person and help humanity ascend, or you can choose to be the same old, well, I can't say because I don't know each person, but you can choose not to be your best self. And you will also assist humanity into the dissension of hell. And so, as mentioned, I've been living, experiencing, and witnessing. And what I have witnessed and have totally come to understand is that humanity has descended, not ascended, descended down into hell. The concept of hell is, I think, hard for people to grasp because we think of like this imagery on the side of me. Oh, I forgot to write down the artist. This is the imagery of hell. Somebody's what do they call it? Depiction of hell, and we think of it as dark, fiery, hot, or extremely cold, and looks all consuming. And I don't think that many of us ever suspect or have suspected that this earth, in all of its abundance, is a hell landscape. It can be heaven or hell. You know, it can be a paradise or it can be a pit of hell. It's all about the work of man and the mindset and the consciousness of man that creates the reality that we experience. I bring that up because, again, once humanity experienced the awakening, that is to wake up to what? This reality, this realm, the truths about it, the rules, the biases that exist, the social constructs, just everything that I've ever talked about on my channel. Mankind had the choice to, again, be a better person. And then this beautiful place we call Earth, with all of its abundance, would support our more positive energy, our more uplifting energy, and create heaven here on earth. But because mankind has gone through the awakening and now understands the constructs and sees the biases, the ills, knows the rules to this realm, and are aware. Excuse me, I know I don't have a script again, so I'm just rambling. Remember, this is Aquarius Rant. And so, well, how can I say this? Mankind's or humankind's consciousness was not where it is now. Am I saying this right? Where it was, we can say 20 years ago and even many more years prior. Our consciousness is more aware. Let me give you some examples of what I mean by we're more aware. We are more aware of like what hoodoo is and voodoo is and alchemy is. We know what it actually is now. We know that it's medicines. It's using the natural herbs from this realm to create medicines. It was a time period when the general populace didn't know that, and they were awed by those that had that knowledge, and humanities, the people that create humanity at any particular time, would be afraid of these people that had this awareness, this knowledge, this magic, this voodoo. And so the awakening, an example of the awakening is coming to understand that alchemy is chemistry, and medicines that the root doctor use, or the roots of this earth are what the doctors use to make medicine. That's a part of the awakening. A part of the awakening has been to come to a place where we can clearly identify that the earth is an earth and it is a realm. and it has this dual nature. And one side of the nature, again, as I stated, can be hell. It embodies the consciousness of the people upon it. So earth can be hell, or it can embody heaven, if that is the consciousness of the residents here on earth at any given time. And so that's a part of the awakening that the majority of humanity had to go through in order to make a conscious decision about if they wanted this place to be heaven or hell. Another aspect of seeing clearly that earth is a particular realm, we also had to be able to see that there's a construct built on top of the earth, which is constructed by man. And that is our various governments and, school, education, marriage. We talked about the various social constructs and infrastructures that govern the lives of human beings all over this world. We've talked about how those various constructs and the infrastructure has been developed over thousands of years in order to help, govern over the people of the world, as well as to get the natural resources out to people to help them sustain their lives. We've talked about that. See, there were only certain people throughout history that held that level of awareness, consciousness, that brilliance, that genius to see that everything had to be orchestrated and it had to have a flow to it to ensure the livelihood of people. Yes, that system's corrupt, and we've talked about it. But nevertheless, there were people that were aware of the details surrounding the constructs and the purpose of it, where the rest of humanity was in a blind. There had to be an awakening, is what I'm saying, so that the majority could see that there is earth, is what I'm saying here, and there's also the constructs upon it, and how the people, God, how to say, the creator or God, however you like to label it, has set up certain rules that governs earth itself, the body. And then there's also those constructs created by man in order to help us survive and strive in this realm. We had to be conscious of that. So what have I been rambling about thus far in my Aquarius rant? It is that humanity was given an opportunity to be awakened to those kind of things, and so many more things. We've discussed those things on my channel. So if you're new to my channel, you can always go back and look at all my videos because it goes step by step talking about all of these things. And so now the time has come that humanity is aware. We are awakened. We see these things. We see the advancements in technology and different stuff like that. We are awakened. So now that we are awakened and we can see the truths that surround us, what are we going to do? Are we going to be better people and do what? Create heaven here on earth now and in the future? Or are we going to not be our best selves and help to co-create hell here on earth now and into the future? Again, I don't have an outline. I'm just trying to talk. This is an Aquarius rant. I'm trying to catch you up on what I've been experiencing, the revelations that I've had, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm going to be all over the place. So hopefully I articulated that concept correctly, because I want to move on to something else, but it's relative. So I can need my glasses, y'all. I know I can't see. Maybe I could talk about what I've been witnessing. I think that I shared in one of the last videos I made that I was witnessing. I was in a state of witnessing, and I was witnessing that I was in hell. I personally in my life was not experiencing hell, but I was watching people around me experience hell. Excuse me, y'all. I was drinking last night. Whew. I'm trying to make a comeback on recovery. So, about a month has passed, probably since my last report. This is part of my recovery. A ruffled potato chip. And in that month or so, I can confirm that I'm in hell. Am I personally experiencing hell? The answer is yes and no. I'm more of a witness. But I too am here in hell with you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know if I can make it make sense, but hell is like a tailor-made suit. It's tailor-made for each of us. You know, what would be a monkey on my back may not be a monkey on your back. Hell is tailor-made for each person. Early in my life, I went through so much stuff. BS. And it was something about me that as I went through the BS when I was younger, I kept saying something ain't right with this. All I can say is something ain't right with this. All of yes. And so as I went through those various trials and tribulations when I was younger, I share with y'all, hey, I was walked to where I am now. I went through some trials and tribulations. I testify something right with it. I sit here today as a, I don't know how, let me see if I can find the words. Even though I'm in hell, and there are situations that have been tailor-made to torture and torment me, I have developed somewhat of a tough skin. I'll say that, a tough skin. And that tough skin is reinforced because I understand that I am in hell. Earth, again, is not always hell. Earth can also be heaven. And I've shared in my channel and in my testimonies that I've experienced heaven here on earth. I know that it's real. But on the other hand, I've also experienced hell. I've experienced more hell than heaven here on earth. When I say the heaven-like experiences have been far and few, I mean it. But hell, it's been times I woke up and thought, you know, when will this end? And it took years. Where the heaven states will come and go in the blink of an eye. But hell stayed. And I realized as I walked through my trials and tribulations in my younger years, I was like, man, this is intentionally tailor-made to do what? Torture and torment me. Either it's going to consume me and leave me. When I say consume, I mean consume my energy, consume my life, consume my soul in a way of how it would manifest in reality, if I make it make sense. I could have been a drug addict. I could have been an alcoholic. My level of obesity could be greater than it is. I could be depressed. I could have been committed suicide. I could have been a committed homicide. Just from my life experiences, I could have done robberies. I could have misappropriated funds. I could have embezzled. I could have sold drugs. It's a whole lot of things I could have did where it could have consumed me. Those trials and tribulations I went through, all the torture and torment I went through. And so I realized again, when I was walking through those time periods in my life, hey, you got to make a choice. Nancy, what are you going to do? How are you going to deal with your current situation, whatever it was at any given time? What you going to do, girl? Are you going to do, example, prostitution? as a answer to whatever was going on? Or are you going to sell drugs? Or are you going to embezzle? Or what are you going to do? You know, I'm going to give you an example because I'm actually going through it right now. Excuse me. Of what I mean. So hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about. When I was younger, I'm 50 now, but in my 20s, you know, I went through this phase of hanging out, trying to party, fit in, going to the bars. I used to drink a fifth of Remy Martin, you know. I'm a hot girl. I'm out here having my hot girl summers or whatever. And I didn't drink all the time, but I believe I was a binge drinker when I was younger. So I just remember when I was younger, hanging out, partying this one time in particular. And so I didn't drink about my fifth of Remy through the night. I wake up in the morning like, ugh, just feeling like my stomach feel bad. Like, ugh, girl, no. You know, what you gonna do? And I had elders at that during that time period in my life. Remember, this is an Aquarius Rant, so I'm just sharing. Say, if you want to get rid of the bears, or it's just a hangover, you know, your stomach being sick, just take another drink. Another drink the next day when I got up to get over it. It helped balance you out. Something was wrong with that advice. I was like, take another drink. I would look at my Remy Martin bottle on the table or wherever it was. I would look at, like, say I was hanging out with other people, whatever they drunk on the table. That bottle there, I would literally get physically ill looking at it the next morning. And so part of my recovery back then, when I was younger, I would get up, and I don't care if it was something left in the bottle or not, pour that stuff out and drown the drain and throw the bottles in the garbage. And I would say it's my punishment, the sickness on the stomach, you know, the gut-wrenching sickness, the hot belly and stuff, and the bears and the headaches or whatever I had, depending on what I partook in. I said that's my punishment for overindulgence. And I would just go through it. I remember there's times that the room was spinning. Now, mind you, I wasn't a chronic drinker, but when I drank, I drank. And so I go back to that time period, trying to share in order to help you understand what I'm talking about. You know, I lost track. But I talk about that because at that point in time, I had a choice. Either I could have kept drinking, and I could listen to that awful advice about getting up the next morning, taking another drink to knock the bears off. And today I'd be an alcoholic. But instead, I made a choice. I got with myself and said, okay, girl, these bottles, just looking at them made me sick. Toss it out, whatever's left. Went to touch the stuff for a long period of time and go through whatever hangover I had to have to get over it. And because I did that when I was younger, I'm not an alcoholic. I can enjoy a drink like I did last night. I'm old now. I didn't drink no fifth. I just drank a couple of cups of wine and it got me down now. But because of the choice I made, I'm free. I'm not an alcoholic. But had I followed that bad advice, I could be in a perpetual hell now of alcoholism or even worse. And what I'm talking about has to do with where humanity is now. We didn't ascend. We descended down into hell. And so I talked about how I wanted to read the tarot, but I feel like my rant is going to be long because I haven't been on here in a very long time, and I want to share. I want to share what I'm experiencing. I want to share what I'm witnessing. I want to share my revelations. If anybody here. So where was I at? Now that was just an example of choices a person can make in their life or will need to make, they'll be confronted with making in their lives that will determine, you know, whether they live a life, a more heavenly life or a hellish life. Let me try to bring this up to what's currently going on and make it make sense. Let me talk about the pandemic. You know, that's been going on for a while. Oh, I have to stop. Because last year, and even a couple of years before, but I'll just talk about last year. I talked about when we got into 2020, there was going to be something that came in that threatened our sense of security. I didn't know that it was going to come in the form of a pandemic. I didn't know the catalyst was going to be a pandemic that led people to get sick and sick and die or have to take off work and be laid off of work for an extended amount of time. I would have never imagined that we would be quarantining for an extended amount of time. But it is what it is. This is our current reality. Let me see if I can make this make sense. Again, I don't have an outline. This is Aquarius Rant. Please ride the wave with me if you will. I'm going somewhere with this. It'll make sense. I couldn't have imagined that was a catalyst. So, pandemic happens, and we are told, I guess I go here, to quarantine. So people are quarantined. Those that have to quarantine do quarantine. Those that are essential workers, they have to go to work. We're all in this together worldwide. And remember, how can I do this? Humanity has the option to ascend or to descend. We are descending into hell. Hey, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. As a direct result, of the experiences that we're having, a lot of money, I'll say, has been flowing. A whole lot of money has been flowing. If you follow me, you know I live in Detroit, Michigan. We can basically say the hood. I live in an average neighborhood. I'm in the hood. A lot of money been flowing. (2020), the opening of the new year, a lot of money been flowing. For me, the money flow began with income taxes. Money flowing. Then by March, it's announced that it's a pandemic and money flowing. It's a stimulus check. Then so many people were laid off of work or work cut back or whatever. Then it became the unemployment checks going out with a bonus from the federal government and an additional $600 in the United States anyway. How you doing, 1, 2? How you holding up? It's a lot of money flowing. I've heard before, I don't know who said this, but somebody said it that had a little social pool that people can't govern themselves. You can't govern themselves. That's why they need the government. That's why they need the leaders. People can't govern themselves. It's a lot of money flowing. And people can't govern themselves. As a witness to all of this money flowing to people that can't govern themselves, I am seeing destruction. It's not just the deaths of people due to the pandemic. It is the death of people due to their own indulgence, overindulgence. It is death of people due to their unchecked ego. It's money flowing and death is following. We are descending down into hell. I don't know how to make this make sense, but I'm going to try, which y'all know I do. I ask you to ride the wave with me. This is an Aquarius rant. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. As a resident of Detroit, there are many sections in Detroit in which people at or below the poverty level reside. And for the first time, I want to cry because my life has been pretty good, I see. For the first time in many people's lives, they get these lump sums of money. And people can't govern themselves. Let me stop. I got to talk about my life, maybe to make this make sense. Over the course of my life, I don't come from people that have a lot of money. My family was a working family and worked in every area you can think of: military, psychiatrists, doctors, teachers, school superintendents, whatever, So they worked in every field you can think of, They were all a part of the construct. They kept the construct right. But my people, most of them, the majority of them, played by the rules. They did the investment, they made the savings, they did these things. They took trips, they invested in the next generation, me being one of the products of the next generation. So I'll tell you, I got the world travels and everything. I went to educate, different schools, all that kind of stuff. So I was blessed. When I was coming up, I didn't know that I was blessed like that. It was just the norm to me. I didn't know in this life I had favor. It was just the norm to me. Things that I took for granted. And over the course of my life, I began to see that I was favored and that I was blessed. So I've had, what I'm saying, sharing that for is because over the course of my life, I've had big whops of money. And I talked about that in detail in another Aquarius rant where I told you I understood that I had to slow down to catch up, because money, it bears a spirit itself, and it will get you to moving and going and thinking you bigger than you actually are, that you're more powerful than you actually are, that you're more capable than you actually are. The Icarus effect that I talked about in one of my last videos. You go beyond who you really are, and it can end in destruction and even death. And that's where we are. And I share my life because as we go through this period that we're in with all this money flowing, when money comes in, I can manage it well. I can save it. I can convert it to some, natural resources, silver and gold. That's where my consciousness is. I don't need to be governed. I also know my abilities, and I know my weaknesses and my limitations. I don't need to be governed. But that's only because of my family and because of my background, my life. I had to be walked to where I am. But today, as mentioned, there are many people for the first time in their lives getting a lump sum of money. To many of us, a $1,200 stimulus check is not a lot, but to some, it is. In my region, the unemployment was backed up for many people. By the time they got their money, by the time they got their money, their unemployment first payment might have been $5,000 or $6,000. These are people that, I'm fine, how are you? May have never had, many of them did not have a lump sum ever, to work with. And so what I witnessed was people indulging in their desires, and they weren't prepared. Where people are indulging in their desires and we're not prepared. So I'm Aquarius. So Let me offer you an example of what I mean by indulgence. And I'm judgmental, y'all, so y'all can say, yes, I'm judgmental. There were people that, like if I went into a local liquor store, that were local natives to my community. So I always saw them. I see what they took and partook in. And so let's say the person or a person bought bottom shelf in liquors. You know, when the money started flowing, the money was everywhere. They went from the bottom shelf to the top shelf and they indulged. There was never a break. See, when you don't have a lot of money, you may indulge in things. You may even have an addiction to some things, but there's a limit. When you have more money flowing, that means you have the increased, what do you call it? Increased access to your desire. You've heard, I'm sure you heard the saying before, everybody ain't built to have money. Money can kill, you know, a person, how a person uses money can kill them. And that's what I'm seeing. And so I watch the people that drunk at the bottom shelf go to the top shelf. I watch people that was riding on the bus break out with high-powered vehicles. That's a whole nother thing about our constructs and how they playing on people. I watch people that were driving average cars, little hoopties, get up and get on motorcycles. These people are dying or killing people left and right. People that, again, were example, drinking bottom shelf or using bottom shelf or whatever. When the money began to flow, they began to consume more. Now we're at a time period when the money is beginning to dry up. It's beginning to dry. Well, okay, it's beginning to dry up. And people are, because in many places, let me say this like this, when I say the money drying up, in many places, they have found an unemployment, they call it unemployment fraud. So they going after these people, cutting money off, doing all kind of things. That's an example of money drying up. People have exhausted their funds, you know, because people have been getting money from different ways. When I say money been flowing, let me stop. I know I'm all over the place. This is an Aquarius Rant. Money been flowing. I talked about income tax. I talked about stimulus checks. I talked about unemployment benefits due to the pandemic. People have that are working. Some people are working like half the time that they worked before this pandemic, but still getting paid the full benefits. You know what I'm saying? So they got more time, same money, more time to get in trouble, you know, if their mind and their consciousness is not mature enough to, you know, to deal with the extra. I hope I make it make sense. You say spending you spending $10,000 checks on Gucci and Louis Vuitton, shaking my yes. And remember, you followed me one too. That last year I talked about the world going into a depression greater than the depression of the 1930s. See, people are not seeing what is to soon occur, you know, in the near future. That all of this money is going to have an adverse effect on the economy, the United States, the world economy, period, you know. But again, the people can't govern themselves. That was what was said. So people don't understand the extent to which our experiences will go. I don't know if I said that right. They don't get it. They're not getting it. Number one, they don't have a point of reference because many people's consciousness is not elevated to that level. They may not be educated as far as being able to refer to historical references. So they have no idea nor can fathom where we can end up as a direct result of this break in the flow of the world's economy. They have no idea. But they go out and what? Spend $10,000 on a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton. There's been a lot of money flowing. And a lot of people are overindulging and cannot see. Nice background. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put the artist. I'm going to have to Google it and put the artist down below in the description. But it's probably Van Gogh. I'm not Van Gogh. What's his name? I can't think. Let me see. This is background. And I am going somewhere with this, y'all. And I'll try to make it make sense. Now, who is the No, not that. I need to go here. We have descended down into hell. Oh, this was on Flickr, FLICKR.com. Christ descent into hell. Excuse me. Let's see. Bosch. Bosch. Yes. Bosch. Yeah. Hell is tailor-made. Hell is tailor-made. Bosch. Let's see. This is David Tor. I don't know. T-O-R. I'm talking about the background, the art, because I forgot to write it in, type it in. T-O-R-C-I-V-I-A, David, and that name I spelled. I guess shares this particular image on Flickr.com. It's called Christ Descent into Hell. It is by Bosch, who's a Netherlandish second quarter century artist. This is a oil on wood painting. It says Bosch's fiery hell scene remained enormously popular throughout Europe in the 16th century. A vast, desolate landscape with a burning city at the right and the river Styx at the left is the setting for this nightmarish vision in which Christ breaks down the gates of hell to rescue the souls of the just. And what is this? Gesturing in supplication towards him, Adam and Eve kneel on top of a ruinous tower. Behind them, Old Testament figures climb the winding stairs from the depth of hell. Among them, Abraham and Isaac with the sacrificial ram, and Noah with a model of the ark. Okay. I was just talking about this piece of art. Hopefully that suffices. You say it looks hot, and yeah, it looks really hot. Hell is hot. And so I've also made a video about hell and discussed if hell is a ram. As I shared earlier in this video, yes, hell is this realm here that we are in, Earth, is hell, but it also has the potential to be heaven. It is a duality. You can have whatever you want, or there's this mixture. But right now, humanity has been called to what? Make a decision. And I've been talking about this decision that we were scheduled to make about 3-4 years ago. Like, hey, you're gonna make a decision, humanity. We're not gonna be lukewarm anymore, like in the Bible. Not gonna be lukewarm. Either you're gonna be in hell or you're gonna be in heaven. What you're gonna do, you can't be lukewarm. And so that's where we are. And so obviously, thus far, humanity still has to reach. I think still has an opportunity before us to gain another level of awareness, meaning waking up. Because I don't think a lot of people, so we see the constructs now, we see the rules, we understand that alchemy is chemistry. We are starting to see this now overall, but what we're not seeing or comprehending is that this ram is heaven or it is hell. Literally. Literally. And then there's also the spiritual heaven or hell. And I talked about that before, and that's your literally your consciousness, your mind, your thoughts. It is your desires. If you have, like Buddha, he said he released all his desires, all his earthly desires, in order to reach what? Nirvana. That is the conscious, the mind part of heaven. And then there's a mind part of hell. If you just indulge and you lose your physical body, and those longings still exist, that consciousness, that wanting, that longing, that needing, that craving, is a state of spiritual hell, everlasting spiritual hell. This is a temporary state. There is a permanent, enduring, eternal state of both heaven and hell, and it is of the mind or the consciousness. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. Well, this video is not about me. I'm just giving if you listen, the Aquarius Rant is somewhat about me, but not on the level you're talking about. So, what have I been talking about? I'm talking about how people are overindulging in their desires, things that they want. You know, you sit up and you wait so long for something, so long to take a vacation, to go jet skiing, and you finally go jet skiing, and you say, I can't even wait for the instructor no more. You know, it's backed up. I'm going out. Oh, they got us quarantining, doing a quarantine thing. Everything's shut down. I can't hire an instructor. This is just an example to help me jet ski. Bump that. I got a stimulus check. I'm gonna go buy the jet ski. I'm gonna hit the water on my own. That's the kind of overindulgence. That's just an example of what I'm saying is leading people to destruction and their demise at an alarming rate. We can't govern ourselves because we can't see. People are losing their lives. People are losing their lives because for the first time in their life, like I said, money, the spirit that surrounds money can be very dangerous. And money can lead a person to think very, very, very highly of themselves. And a lot of people are putting their foot in their mouth and doing things or writing checks that they behind can't cash because they have they're communing with the spirit of money and don't know it. Do that make sense to y'all? Another thing that's taking place. See, I feel like this is a setup on a spiritual level. Another thing that is occurring is about the quarantine. Now, when this quarantine first began, I did a few videos. One of them was called Following the Breadcrumbs to the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Following the breadcrumbs to the coronavirus. Another one is it death by defecation? You know, in that research, one of those two, I end up finding information on the rules that surround having to quarantine people or quarantine the masses especially, and that it has to be the least amount of time necessary to get whatever under control. Meaning, hey, don't keep these people in quarantine. Don't keep the people in quarantine longer than necessary. Hurry up and do what you got to do because people aren't built. You have to be prepared to be quarantined, to stay quarantined for an extended amount of time. And that's because it leads to what? Psychological breaks, depression, insanity. And that was the video I did talking about purple panic, about the time period that I first saw in which this that people's psyche would break. And so a lot of people are not making good decisions because of the pressures that have mounted up due to being quarantined or isolated, not being able to go to work and having purpose and things like that. You know, Remember, somebody with some social pull said people can't govern themselves. So what I think I've been witnessing, I know I've been witnessing, is that those that are governing man have been governing man in a way that leads man to be self-destructive. It's like some folks decide to give us extra rope to hang ourselves. That extra rope look like money flowing in from everywhere. And people overindulging. That extra rope looks like time off of work, free time. What they say, an idle mind is a devil's playground. The extra rope. The extra rope basically has been extended to the people through free time and excess money. And I hate to say that, because I used to get so insulted when I would hear that saying that people can't govern themselves. But I realized that many people cannot govern themselves because they have not had prior access to developing the ability to govern themselves. You got to be walked. You have to be taught how to govern yourself in relationship to this world, in the relationship to other people. You know what I'm saying? But the people in power, previously has governed everybody. So many people don't have that ability. Am I making it make sense? I don't know if I'm making it make sense or not. So a little bit about astrology. Again, I haven't been messing around in astrology or tarot or anything. What I've been doing, I'll talk about what I've been doing personally in a minute, other than walking through hell. Seeing people being consumed of all type of ways. Remember, hell is tailor-made. A puppy might be your hell. It's tailor-made. Or hell can be your whiskey bottle. A puppy or whiskey bottle. Hell tailor-made. Hell can be your emotional attachment to another. Hell tailor-made. Tailor-made. So, excuse me. Going on because I forget. My hell tailor-made is my emotional bond and connection with other people. And so I'm to this place where I can't care. I cannot allow myself to care. Here is the Aquarius cold-heartedness, because I realize that I'm in hell. I also realize that people can't see when they're in hell. They can't see when they're being trapped. They can't see. And if you can't see that you're being tricked, remember the devil's an ultimate trickster. If you can't see you're being tricked, you're going to fall. And you're going to be stuck in hell. You're going to be stuck with a monkey on your back that you got to do battle with. What can that monkey be again? It can be a puppet, or it can be a bottle, or it can be emotional attachment. Before you know it, you're in hell and all consuming. That's where we are. Humanity has or is descending into hell. We can stop it at any time. We can. But it will take the consciousness of humanity to see clearly that we are descending into hell. An ascension is not happening. Not even for the most advanced spiritual person. Not for myself. I don't believe it for any other spiritual person. because this is a collective thing. This is a group thing. In the physical, although I may not go into one of the lower pits of hell, I'm still walking the parameter of hell because I'm in this world. And the majority of the consciousness of the world is descending us into hell. And the majority are not conscious that we collectively are creating hell. The ascension, unfortunately, y'all, based on what I'm saying, it's not occurring. It's going to take the majority. I'm sure people will argue with me. Sometimes you have to be like that. You got to be like that. Otherwise, what? I will descend down into a lower pit of hell. And you know, I'm like wondering, what is it going to take for the humans that create humanity to be able to see that we have power, we possess the power to create heaven or hell? What is it that we have to go through? I remember sharing the revelation I was given back on March 6th, 2016, that talked about everything we've gone through and what we're going through now and what we're going to do in the future. It was a revelation, like in the Bible. It was biblical. I shared it. It was called End Time Prophecy or something like that. And in that prophecy, I just remember seeing dealing with some really hard life challenges, globally, dealing with some really hard challenges in order to get to the place where you can even comprehend these concepts that I'm talking about. This is generational. So it's just not for us that exist now. It's for those in the future. Our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, or whatever else, It's generational. What is it? 26,000 something years for the whole zodiac to go around the whole zodiac or something like that. 26,000 years. The hell? That's a whole lot. Oh. So, I want to talk about the astrology. Even though I haven't been into it, so I'm referring back to, they're not old alignments, they are ongoing alignments. And it is the Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn, talking about the world's constructs, not the earth, the constructs that man created to govern man, to get all the natural resources around, to govern people in their behavior and their activity, that construct, the infrastructure. I've been trying to watch very closely our reality to see what our constructs and infrastructures would be renovated into. I can't see. I made a video called Constructs Under Construction, or the World Structure Under Renovation, or something like that. I can't see. I can't see because this whole pandemic thing has truly annihilated our world's construct. It's annihilated it. I see some really strong standing constructs still. An example is like McDonald's. McDonald's in my area, they done served 1 billion serves since all this began. They already reached 1 billion. They done made another billion, I'll say. That's just my theory. They stood strong during this time. People talk about how horrible the food is and how unhealthy it is, but every time I turn around. Another thing, you got back last year when I made the video called the secret message where I talk about we are scheduled to enter into a period that is going to threaten our security, and we're possibly going to end up in a Great Depression, greater than the Depression of the 1930s. It's called a secret message. Damn, what was I going to say? I'm still venting. This is an Aquarius Rant. What was I about to say? Because this was important. Old people problems, and I was drinking last night, y'all. I'm trying to recover. So, and I'm about to partake in my vices. So, I'm about to smoke my cigarette. I bought that up about the Great Depression and stuff. And what was I talking about? I'm talking about constructs. Oh, I didn't know where the development is going. Things standing strong during this period. In that video, I was talking about how in the Great Depression, paralleling what happened to the Great Depression, during the Great Depression, to what is to occur or what shortly occurred, talking about now, that there were going to be opportunities that open up for people to make money, big money. How did I say this? Because during the Great Depression, there were certain corporations that ensured their success. I talked about in that video how the Great Depression was planned, and it was to stall the majority of the United States, the people, while the corporate powers, they say, again, renovated the constructs to ensure their prolonged success or future success. And I was saying that the same thing is scheduled to happen now. So paralleling the Great Depression of the 1930s to what is occurring now, McDonald's is an example of how they did not miss a heartbeat and are not missing a heartbeat during this time period. Another place that rolls up and has increased its success during this time period, places, and we talked about it, like Amazon, what's the FedEx, the U.S. Postal Service. They're working on Sundays now as well. They're working 8 days a week. They can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? These people are making money. Ups, what they call it, Ups, and what's the other one? All them places. You know, there was opportunity open up that the majority of humanity couldn't see. If we look real close at our world and its constructs and its infrastructures, we will see where, how I say, the economy has shifted in its favor. I don't know how to say it. Where things are taking loss, like a lot of small businesses will have never opened up, will never open up again. For one reason, and that's why a lot of people want to go back to work, because they see what's happening. It's a shift in power. It's a shift in the money. It's a shift in who will be successful and who will go on, and who will be present in our future. And you get what I'm saying? This is intentional. It's the exact same blueprint that was used during the 1930s Great Depression. It is intentional. Again, when I was making these reports over the last 3-4 years, I had no idea that the catalyst would be a pandemic. I had no idea. But the stars were foretelling of it. Every tarot reading, hi Carla, how are you? Hi Thomas. Every tarot reading I was doing was foretelling of it. I was like, but I never would imagine. Never would imagine. You gotta remember, I'm an amateur, so there are certain things I miss, and I definitely missed the sixth house of health and things like that, and some stuff in the 12th house too. Never would imagine. So, okay, I was talking about the structures, and I was talking about the structures because I can't see where we're going. And one reason that I can't see where our how our world constructs will be renovated is because I will have to stop doing, I've already stopped, but not do any other things that I've been doing. And I will have to totally 100% concentrate on what's popping now and what ain't popping or what's been fell off. If a person can do that, they will be able to see. They will be able to see. They'll be a seer of what is to occur in the future. All I can say to try to make that make sense is to go back and through my video catalog, find the video I did called The Secret Message in order to understand what I'm talking about. But if you can concentrate just on that, you will know where to invest your money and your energy. You know where to pull out at. I'm exhausted. I can't even do it. I'm just overwhelmed. Let me tell you, I'm jumping all over the place. Remember, y'all, this is Aquarius Rant. You in Turkey? I didn't know you were in Turkey, Carla. I have Walking Through Hell is trying. Think of that. What's the movie Constantine, where Keanu Reeves was walking through hell, transported in hell, walking through hell? It's like that. It's just like that. It's unbelievable. I went to the store called the Dollar General in my area last week. I went in there to buy some dog food. And so I get the dog food and I'm standing in line. You know, I just got in line. I was to be serviced next with the cashier. And all of a sudden it was like, boom, this huge explosion. Like, what the fuck? Everybody just stopped. Cashier stopped. I stopped. I just put the dog food on the counter. People stopped and they walked to the front, you know, back to the front of the store to look out the door. And all I can think is, did my car explode? You know? And so when we out there, we all looking and we can't see. We can't see what's to happen. But like I said, people can't govern themselves. Some people haven't had a car in a mighty long time. They get lump sums. They get to finally buy a car. They ain't got to take the bus. They ain't got to ride a bike. They ain't got to walk. They tired. But again, it's the spirit of prosperity and money. It's a spirit there that some people can't handle. They can't govern themselves. That's what they mean by you can't govern yourself. You don't know that, like, the government is playing intercessor between people and these spirits. Now, due to what's going on, people are directly communing with these spirits and don't even know it. That is our next awakening, is what I'm saying, if it's making sense. That's our next awakening, to see when you're communing with spirits. I did a video about that. It says, see into 2020. And that video talks about how you're going to be standing face to face with spirits. Understand what you're looking at. I talked about spirits that bear testimony, old buzzards, just different spirits I could think of and create some type of illustration for, to let you know, hey, we're dealing with spirits face to face. The spirit right now I'm talking about is that spirit of prosperity. It can be closely related. It is closely related with the ego. And remember, the ego is arrogant. It is about self-survival and things and stress. It's the survival of self. The ego is real narcissistic, and it goes with prosperity. You know. So anyway, I'm at the Dollar General. Boom! Everybody go out. I'm looking like, did my car explode? Everybody like, what's that? What is that? You know. So we go back in the store reluctantly because we don't know what's going on. We live in some interesting times. What was that? I mean, it's like it filled the whole sky, the whole space up. So everybody go back in the store. They finish their, you know, whatever they doing. And so I get home. I'm still like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, maybe a quarter of a mile, maybe. Yeah, quarter of a mile. A car, young man in his 20s, driving looked like a little hoopty, what I could tell of what was left of it. Was driving at higher speeds, hit the median wall, rolled across the freeway, car blew up, ejected the young man from the car, life gone in an instant. I just really believe, because all of this stuff is it's happening every day, all day long in my area. It's a lot of money coming in. It's a lot of people overindulging. A lot of people can't commune with these spirits. They don't know them. They don't recognize them. They don't know how to deal with them. And they're dying or being destroyed. Addictions. I gotta smoke a cigarette jar because I'm walking through hell. I'm in hell. You know about that. Finding people everywhere ODing and slumped over steering wheels. They was high. I done ran into a few of them. Doing whatever they do, whether it's drinking or some type of drug. Overindulging. I done had spirits of drugs and alcohol, even tobacco, talk to me. So I can kind of get what people are going through. And they didn't pull back. I told you about the decision I made when I was younger about drinking. You know, they didn't make the right decision. And they're communing with these spirits and don't know it. And they're being destroyed. We are in hell is what I'm trying to get you to see. And we don't have to be in hell. We don't have to stay in hell. We can ascend. But the next level of awareness must occur. How long is it going to take us to be aware that in this physical realm, which has a dual nature, that there is physically a heaven and a physical hell, but we create the reality. Right now, in our still ignorance, we're still kind of ignorant here, we are descending into hell. And I just don't, hell, murders. Now I live in a D. There's always something going on. If you follow me, you heard me say I don't even watch the news no more. But it's so much happening, like even in my immediate environment, young people coming up missing, women coming up missing. So we can only imagine that they're being sex trafficked because somebody else's desire or wanted, whether it's for the actual sexual gratification or if they're the one trying to market them for the money, for the power, for the social connect. See, what am I talking about this for? I'm trying to get people to see, how can I say, many of us don't know that we're demons. We don't know that we're demons. That's another state of awareness that we're going to have to gain. If you're a demon, do you know you're a demon? And to whom are you a demon to? You may be maybe an angel or neutral to one person, but you are a devil or a demon to another. Let me offer you an example, because all I can do is give an example, because there's so many of us in the world. Let's say you're a high-powered executive or a CEO, and you're the best employee your corporation got. You'd have made them millions of dollars, maybe billions of dollars. I don't know, millions of dollars. But you got an old mama in a nursing home. Did you take all her money? You got her in the worst nursing home ever, even though you're making millions of dollars. You sell all her stuff, all her fine stuff, her and your father have acquired during the course of your life. Are you an angel or are you a demon? Based on what I see, you a demon to your mama. Let's see. Give you an example. Person that's on drugs. You may keep the dope man funded. Dope man got the flyest cars. His kids go to private school. They wear the best clothes. The refrigerator's full because you fund the dope man. But your own kids don't have any food or clothes. These are the things that I'm seeing. Food or clothes. You don't take them to the doctor, dentist, or anything. Are you an angel or are you a demon? Well, as far as I can tell, you're a demon to your child, because you are setting the cadence for your child's future. Everything from dental problems, hygiene problems, health problems, all because you were being a quote unquote angel to dopamine. These are things that I'm seeing, and they're being amplified because the people get this rush of money and they can't govern themselves. What does it mean again? They can't govern themselves. It means, hey, you don't know how to commune with these spirits. I've tried again to describe some of these spirits out here. How can I talked about in one video I made, it was called New Paradigm Living, Natural Disasters. And I was exploring the question about our natural disasters, natural reoccurrence, or are they man-made, and will they continue? And even if they continue, will they amplify? And what I was exploring in that video was how the hand of God moves. We create the hand of God to move upon us in this earth with natural disasters, like knocking the birds out the air, killing the fish out the sea, and different things like that. We did that. That's the hand of God. I'm talking about seeing in the spirit. And so right now I'm talking about seeing in the spirit and being able to see the spirits that are right before you. What video was it? In that same video. And in 2018, New Year's Eve, Kiss the Headbanger's ass. I talked about how we're going to be confronted personally with making the decision if we're going to be an angel or demon, if we're going to be the protagonist or the antagonist. And I gave examples of what I meant by talking about people that hold, we can say, essential jobs, such as people in law enforcement and different things like that. And how you're going to have to make a decision if you're going to side with your family, during these upcoming times, or are you going to stay loyal to your oath to whomever you are employed with? Are you an angel or a demon? Because, give you an example of what I mean. Just recently, I've been seeing little posts on Facebook that talk about how different states are giving the go-ahead for the courts to move forward and evict people now at a time of a pandemic, when a large percentage of the businesses have closed down. If the people wanted to work, they couldn't work because there's not as many jobs. It was already not enough jobs. Now there are even less. And so some people don't have the money. See, hell, it's tailor-made. It's a lot of money flowing. And that lot of money is a whole lot of money to some, but to others, it is not what suffice to handle their quality of life. It won't sustain. Hell is tailor-made. And so there are certain people, $1,200 didn't even meet their mortgage for 1 month, or their rent for 1 month. Not talking about no utilities or food or nothing at all. And so now they're moving to telling the people, of course, go ahead and evict these people. Who's going to sit them out? Are you an angel or are you a demon? You might be the best, what they call it, sheriff to your county, loyal. So you may be an angel to them, but a demon to the family you go sit out that lost their job as a direct result of what we're going through. Not because they're negligent, trifling. It's just hell is tailor-made. See, can you see how we are descended into hell? What you gonna do about it is the question. What are you gonna do about it? I'm saying, hey, y'all, my little channel is very, very small and falling off. But I'm telling you right here, based on what I see, my intuitiveness and everything I do be into, that it is up to us to stop the descent into hell. You're going to be an angel and you're going to feed your neighbor. You're going to try to help them out the best way you can. You're going to have to refuse to go sit people out. Okay, even if you sit them out, you do your job and sit them out, who's going to move in that house? It's going to be another vacant house out. You know, you have to make a decision if you're going to go turn them people's water off. You can't look and try to judge each case. If a person is, that's to say, if a person is negligent or not, you can't do that. We are in a time period that is calling for us to show our hand. Either we are demons and devils, and so this will be hell. We will be each other's demons and devils, and we will torture and torment each other, and we will also be the tormented. Or you can say enough is enough. This place is for the people, for the appointed time that we're here, and we have been given a power and authority to co-create our reality, and we're going to make this place heaven-like. Meaning, I'm not seeking you out your house. I'm going to help you stay in your house, one way or another. Whether I got to pay your rent, I got to not do what my job told me to do. We better figure out something, y'all. I'm telling y'all, based on what I see. Otherwise, we are all going to be consumed. I bet you we can't even fathom that. So we can just about imagine that that's another layer of awareness that we got to get to. I think we got, 26,000 years to figure it out. You might not care. You might feel like you ain't going to be here in 26,000 years. Give or take a year. Because we already in it. But guess what? Some part of your gene pool will be here. I don't know if it's going to be you and your consciousness, but some part of your gene pool is going to be here. Because one thing is for certain, is that none of our physical vessels in our DNA leaves this plane. Check that out. And your consciousness is in an ethereal range. So if your consciousness is low, it ain't leaving up out of here either. So we got some stuff to deal with. I'm about to read the chat, y'all. Just been ranting, Aquarius Rant, because this is all the same. And then I want to talk about Taurus. And then I'm going to look at the cards a little bit. Okay. Okay. You said, I'm stuck in Turkey. Oh, you stuck in Turkey. Intended for a 1-week vacation. You got stuck here for 3 months because of the COVID. Wow. How are you doing there? You got family there? You're vacationing, or hopefully you're visiting family. Whew. You think today's lesson is acceptance? Okay. Do I think there will be a second quarantine? I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I think this is ongoing. That's what I'm saying about about our consciousness and how we perceive everything in reality, as real or 3D. A lot of what we're going through, or everything that we're going through for that matter, is actually spiritual. And it's just expressed in the physical, the way we're experiencing it. See, the quarantine itself is to help you expose who you are. The quarantine is help on the spiritual level. It's helping you expose who you are, your essence. Some time ago, I talked about addressing the soul, the state of the soul address. That was a couple of years ago. State of the soul address. And when I made that video, I began to talk about, which I continue to talk about, how the state of our souls are going to be exposed. First, it's going to be exposed to us, then to others. And then here we are in this collective pool of souls moving. And so the quarantine is a method in the physical that is being used to help us reveal our true nature. Because you have to push. You have to be pushed to somewhat of a level of discomfort, or to bring about your state of consciousness, your psyche. That is to say, in this case, most people are borderline insane on some level. Their psyche is cracking. The movie Jordan Peele made, what was that? Get Out. Get Out. When you talk about the sunken place, most people's sunken place, they're there. They're in tapped into that sunken place. They are becoming one with that sunken place. When I talk about the sunken place, like Jordan Peele talk about, what may have led some people to go there? They maybe have never been there another day in their life. Well, some people were used to going to work or whatever they did. Now, there's a part of the world's population that don't have purpose. Every day, they sitting up looking like, what do I do? The longer the quarantine goes on, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? So that sends them into the sunken place where you got to, if you follow me, I'm talking about the sunken place or the psyche, where you come face to face with your own personal nemesis. You find out your own spiritual weaknesses and powers and things like that. You have to do battle in there or you'll be consumed. And so that's how some people are going to the sunken place. Other people are going to the sunken place. As I talked about, there's a lot of money flowing. There's a lot of new opportunities open up to people to, tap into their desires. And if the desires don't kill you, they make you stronger. What don't kill you, make you stronger. And it's a part of that's not said in that quote. If it don't kill you, if indulging in your desires do not kill you, then you are going to go to the sunken place. If you do the appropriate battle with the nemesis and them spirits, and do all those works, then what happens? It makes you stronger. You know what I'm saying? How does it make you stronger? Because you know how to commune with them spirits of what? I talked about prosperity, money, drugs. You know how to commune with them. I did a video about it. I talked about communing with the spirits and dope. My video called Dope Drugs. I talked about my experiences with drugs, dope drugs. I talked about it with Game, Recognize, Game, that video. Game, Recognize, Game, where I talked about how the drugs have been introduced into society. It almost seems like every decade. And now the floodgates to all drugs is open every type of opiates and everything now. I talked about it there. Because drugs have very particular spirits attached to them, and you can get stuck there. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. And they can get stuck there, and while being stuck or addicted, we call it the addiction in the physical, you're in a sunken place when you can't get the hit or the fix that your physical body feel like it needs to quench or feed those spirits. You are then tortured and tormented until you submit. You know what I'm saying? So that's the sunken place. It's not having control. It's having the spirits talk to you. Nobody else can hear them but yourself. You know what I'm saying? It takes a person to have gone through these various experiences or been very sensitive like myself to the experiences that you did have, to be able to understand probably what I'm talking about. Here is a place of awareness that we'll all go through. We will grow to be empathetic to each other. So many levels of awareness that we will be obtaining, over the course of the next few generations at least. Everybody waking up. What time is it? Oh, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since about 5. Belly aching from overindulging. Taurus. I got to go down on the chat draw in a minute. Yeah, I do believe the quarantine is going to continue. It's not like the second quarantine. It is going to be a continuation of the quarantine. Even though the rule behind quarantining people is that you are supposed to end the quarantine as soon as possible because people will lose it. It's people will lose it. Talking about people losing their I'm gonna say complete. It's not about like you can lose your mind, but it's like your mind started playing tricks on you. Your mind started playing tricks on you. So you don't have anything to preoccupy your time. You know, we escape our reality different ways through going to work, through relationships, through cheating, through gambling, you know, through shopping. We escape reality and we don't have to come face to face with the nemesis of this existence. Like a nemesis, an example of a nemesis of this existence is death. Well, if you're sitting at home all day long, it is an opportunity for you to constantly, you know, focus on that. Or Taurus, the Taurus energy, what is it? That's astrological alignment is Uranus and Taurus. I think it is. Your sense of physical worldly security. If you're sitting at home all day long, that's something you could be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Are we going to have enough money next month? Am I going to maybe eat? Am I going to have a house over my roof over my head? Oh my God, you know. So you can get lost in those worries and concerns because you don't have anything to redirect your energy toward so that it won't consume you. So the quarantine is supposed to break so people won't get to that place. But because this quarantine is going on so long, it is possible that a lot of people are breaking. Again, it's starting with very bad decision making, violence, especially in relationships and things like that. People really get people getting on your nerves because you're around each other too often, and you're not able again to redirect your energy at will. So these are the kind of things that people are dealing with, and it's worldwide. That's another level of awareness that we will be attaining, over the next few decades at least, is the awareness that I'm the same as a person in China or Russia, et cetera, et cetera. We are built being this human vessel the same. We may look different, we may have different colors and shapes and different things like that, but our essence, our functions are the same. You know what I'm saying? We're going to respond to certain outside stimulus in a I want to say the same way, but there is a set of ways one could respond, like being angry or aggressive. So it don't matter what I'm saying. It don't matter where you're at. If you are built to respond aggressively, that's what you're gonna do. Chinese, Russian, black, white, that's what you're gonna do. That's how you build. If you're built to be a person that covert, person that deflects, responsibility or whatever. Just saying some stuff might not make sense. That's what you're gonna do. No matter if you're Chinese, white, black. That's another level of consciousness we gotta get to. We all have that in common. So that's another thing we gotta get to. I was about to go talk about Taurus. Uranus and Taurus, about our sense of physical, worldly security and stability. We are just on the, what they call the word, precipice, or the arch, what is it called? The threshold of entering into this sense of, we just at the threshold of it, where our sense of physical, worldly security and stability is questioned. And just at this threshold, many people are dealing with the psychological breaks, going into the sunken place, just from the fear about having food. Will there be food shortages? People are afraid, I'm sure, to quit their jobs, even though they may be an essential worker. Maybe they really never got the gist of what it meant to be an essential worker, or that it would go to this extent. That's another thing. Could you imagine those that had to work throughout this whole thing, nonstop? They are at a breaking point. I seen on Facebook last week, I think it was, some delivery driver got out his truck, left with the keys and the packages and everything, just walked off. Can we blame them? Can we blame them? I ordered some clothes a month ago, and I still haven't gotten them. The backlog to these delivery services is abnormal, and these people are working long hours. They're hiring. I watched, what was it I saw delivering? It seemed like Lyft drivers delivering packages, people that deliver like medical supplies delivering packages like other than medical. They got all these what they call it, like freelancers or contracts that they made with people, but the backlog is incredible. Packages just coming up lost. It's a lot they're not telling about these people that's being overworked. People in the markets, grocery stores, overworked. Hospitals, overworked. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'm watching these delivery trucks pull up on my block multiple times. I talked about it in the last video. I had one of them bought a little package like this, pulled that big old truck up to bring out a little package like this to my house. And it was some drill bits or something. Drill bits. I couldn't believe it. I was like, now how is this person driving this big old truck, bringing this little package of drill bits, and then turn around the next day, another little package go across the street to my neighbor, and then another little package. I mean, it's just coming back and forth. It is not sustainable. Their delivery system is insane, and these people are overworked. Is what I'm saying. Overworked is not rational. What's going on? So I'm still trying to recover, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna do tarot in another live. I want to talk about this Uranus and Taurus energy and our sense of physical security in this world, where they're going to have food, shelter, water, companionship. If you're able to go, travel and go partake in the things that, enhance your life, those kind of things. Right now, we're being pacified. But we're moving into a time period where those type of areas in our lives are going to be challenged. Now, I'm going to give you an example, and I've talked about this story before. I'm going to use this story to offer you an example of where this Uranus and Taurus energy is taking humanity. The story goes a little bit like this. There was a feast. I don't know exactly how it goes, but there was a feast of many, many people. And it was this beautiful buffet. I don't know how it goes. Beautiful buffet. This whole array of food, all these people. But each guest had a 3-foot spoon. And the guests in one scenario literally starved to death. Why? Because they wasn't able to feed themselves with a 3-foot pool of spoons, no matter what they did. So they never got to take a bite of anything on the table. Because what? They couldn't feed themselves with a 3-foot spoon. So they all starved to death. The other scenario to the story is that there's, all of these people at this grand buffet, all this beautiful food. They all had 3-foot spoons. Well, each guest turned and fed the person next to them. Everybody in the buffet ate, and they ate abundantly, and they laughed, and they played music, and they enjoyed themselves. They created a heaven state in which everybody was full and satisfied. The Uranus and Taurus energy is like that. That's where we are. Either we will try to sustain ourselves and our own desires, and we are going to do what? Ascend this for planet and our consciousness further down in hell, and we're all going to self-destruct. That's where the Uranus is taking us. Or it's our choice. We're going to turn and realize that we cannot feed ourselves with this 3-foot spoon, and we're going to feed our neighbors and our family members, and we're going to help out, and we're not going to evict each other. And we will live. Well, number one, we're going to create heaven on here on earth, but we're going to live abundantly, and we're going to help to create heaven on this earth now and into the future. But at the in our current mode, as mentioned, we are descending further into hell. If people are antagonists, other people's sense of security will continuously be threatened. As to say, you don't know if that person gonna come cut your water off, stage you out, steal your stuff out your house, or if your vacation place is gonna be available. You don't know. And because you don't know, you're like a provoked bull. Your dog in here? Put her on her chain, take her out, please. Okay. You're a provoked bull. And provoked bulls do what? Attack. So, just imagine. 7 is the world's population has grown. 7.7 plus billion people in the world on the attack. That's where Uranus and Taurus has taken us. So, the world's construct, Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn, what is the construct going to look like to support a bunch of wild beasts ravaging and fighting for the crumbs that are available in this earth? Those constructs are there to govern us, right? So if the constructs that are developed are there to govern us, they will be developed, see into the future, in order to deal with wild beasts, which is us, demons and devils attacking, just trying to self-survive. So what does that suggest? It suggests to me, oh God, please no, capital punishment. Yeah, capital punishment being a norm. It suggests to me, in order to tame the beast, to tame the wolves, the universal income, a little something, a little something. It suggests to me, this is in our future, that there will be technology mandated that will give the powers that exist at any given time the ability to shut the bull down if the bull does not calm itself and comply with the rules. That's the future. If we continue to, Lord, I'm spitting everywhere. Excuse me, y'all. Chips flying all out my mouth talking. If we continue to not see. So, okay, I'm reading the chat, y'all, because I'm about to go out. I'm going to highlight what I was talking about a over this. Oh, I only did an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. No, I got rusty. And you say, still waiting for a flight back to Africa. I get you. This lunar eclipse in Capricorn challenging us how we're going to use our time. Definitely. Your time, your abilities, your know-how, your place in society. I'm very happy here in Turkey. Got to travel, and this is a country that has free fresh water, really, fountains, ancient values here. Wow, okay, Turkey. Okay. That's cool. Seriously, the story about the car is happening often. It is. As a matter of fact, it happened last night. Heard another boom. Because I got to tell y'all what I've been doing personally. So I'm up last night, 4 in the morning, and hear the big boom again. I was like, I know that ain't another car accident because it keeps happening. Sure enough, my daughter said, Mama, you need to not sleep with your window open because it was another car accident. And so I'm not talking about benders. I'm talking about what they call it, real massive tragic accidents where they use the jaws of life. The cars are blowing up. I mean, because people are moving at such high speeds, they gotta go. They got the need for speed. The need for speed, like in the video game. The need for speed. Like, what are you doing? I'm riding down the street. I can tell a lot of these people haven't driven in years. I mean, they riding on the wrong side of the street. All kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's a whole lot going on. Oh, it's a whole lot going on. Have you heard of naturescaping? South African neighbors are planning out who's going to grow which fruit, vegetables, and share it among them. No, but that's what needs to be done. I'm not being funny. I've never visited Africa. I just have the images from media. Maybe it's possible for them to do that and have that state of consciousness because they're not as developed, possibly, as here in the United States. And I did a video called Who is Seven Bomar, Comprehension to Ascension, in which I talked about how when the world was less developed, we were more dependent on each other to work together to survive. And so my image of Africa, South Africa, any part of Africa, is that they're not as developed as the United States, and therefore still has that mindset of having to, collaborate in order to sustain a life. So yeah, I can see them saying, hey, we got to get together. We got to figure out how to make, grow these gardens and, again, collaborate. But here in the United States, we're so individualistic, so narcissistic, and self-centered and self-focused and take everything for granted that we don't have the mindset to do that. When challenges are right at hand, we can't see them. We've been spoiled. And that's a dangerous place to be. I just tried to make a little garden. Hello, how you doing? Hi, Rise of Vibrations. I see you. And Miss Marie's popping. How you doing? I just tried. Well, it ain't my first time trying a garden, but I never could grow a garden. I killed every plant. So I tried to grow a garden. That's been a part of my quarantine. Digging up a garden. I planted some asparagus, onions. I thought that would be easy. Peppers. And something else I planted. They wasn't growing. Something just started sprouting up the other day. It was the onions. So I'll see. Put it like this, I couldn't survive right now. I could not survive on my fields. Not at all. But we take so much for granted. And in my area, they have a lot of food banks. Been actively handing out food. The schools, because the schools shut down, they set up a program where they've been delivering lunches to, school-aged children. The welfare system has been like doubling people's food benefits. The markets have been pretty okay at keeping the prices. They went up a little bit, but they done brought it back down. And so in that way, it seems that our governing bodies have tried to make sure that everybody has some food. But you got to remember, this is going to be a long-term experience. I think that's what a lot of people are not comprehending. What we're going through is not going to be a short-lived experience. This is going to be ongoing. And so growing gardens and things like that, it's kind of late in the year, but I guess better late than never. Or we have to be prepared. I'll say this. We have to be prepared for next year. Like I said, in my area, and I guess it is taking place in other areas, that provisions are being made to make sure people have food based on the supplies that have already been produced in the past. So what I'm saying, we are exhausting our surplus as we move through this experience. So possibly by next year, the surplus will be exhausted. And if people are not back to work and the constructs are not, the gears of our constructs and infrastructure are not back ticking the way they were or something similar, which I doubt, that means that we're not going to have any supplies. So we need to be, like in Africa, planning to, like now buying the seeds and saying, okay, like in my community, saying, okay, we're going to take this lot. We're going to buy this lot as a community lot, and we're going to plant some stuff out here. And in March, we're going to go fishing, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to buy some generators and stuff, because they're going to knock the power out next, right? Okay, y'all. I said it. I made a video a couple of years ago talking about 3 days of darkness that's been playing. So listen to me, y'all. People don't listen to me. People don't listen to me. I don't know why. I don't know why. So anyway, it would be beneficial to everybody to prepare, because we have to look like the food chain is really, really broken. It's really, really broken now. And they talking about all these cases of the COVID, exploding again. And so we have to be prepared. Now, we don't, I'm going to say this. COVID, I talked about it. I do believe it's real. I know it's real. It's taken out people. There are many people that have died. The people dying from a lot of other stuff. But this break, the stalling to the flow of our economy and everything and the markets is going to have a rippling effect. And that's what we need to be aware of now, not later. Now, we are descending down in hell. We descended in hell. We are not ascending. In heaven, there's an abundance of food and resources for everybody. In hell, there's a shortage of food. Think of the concept of hell. Think of the concept of hell and how it would look if it manifests right here in this physical world. Another one of those things is what? The shortage of food and supplies. Scarcity. Even though I believe the scarcity is being man-made. Scarcity. And so right now, we need to plan and have a plan so that we can go in action in the spring. It is possible that the surplus that we have, at least here in the United States, can carry us through these winter months, in the winter months. But when spring come up, if we not ready to work together and fill in the gap in the break in our chain of agriculture and stuff like that, will that be one of the things that help us to see, to become aware of, to be conscious of, that we've descended down in hell? Is that where we need to go? You got to be able to see in the spirit. Yeah, hi, Juanita, how are you? Okay. Now I'm about to end this. I'm about to tell y'all what I'm going to read chat finally, and I'm going to tell you hi forever. What I've been personally doing, because I know I'm walking through hell, so I got to do something to balance myself. Hey Nancy, glad to see you are back. I've been here. I've been quiet. I've been saying, okay, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna make some videos. I just can't because I'm walking through hell and I'm just witnessing and I'm trying to stay calm. And I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing in a minute. Let me read the chat. But welcome here, Rises Vibrations. Thank you for sticking with me. Even when it look like I ain't here, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm a creep. I be behind the scenes. I be right here. I'm so excited to see your notice. Oh, thank you. Thank you for dropping by again. I just love y'all loyalty. Juanita, just watching the wonderness of seeing the garden grow. Yeah, when I seen this sprout up, I was like, oh, I have hope. I have hope. And then I said, if anything really comes up, like the peppers are growing. That's what's growing out there. I said I'm gonna try to dry them. I'm not gonna just take them and just try to, eat them or just let them rot. I said I'm gonna go all the way with it. If the plants continue to grow and I get a real harvest, I'm gonna pluck some, use some, try them out. And I'm also going to try my hand at drawing. I did some drawing a couple of years ago. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Warrior of Light. Hello. Hi, Mrs. How are you? I'm hanging in here. So what have I personally been doing as I walk through hell to try to balance myself? Well, one thing I haven't been doing, I have not been reading tarot, nor have I been messing around with astrology. I haven't been doing anything, not reading anything. I work in my yard, gardening, but a lot of what I've just been doing is just, honestly, y'all, I don't know how they say this, but I've just been sitting. I know y'all be like, how do you just sit? I've just been sitting. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not gossiping. I'm not on the phone. I'm not texting. I ain't writing. Unnecessary stuff I'm doing, like handling my business, and the rest I've just been sitting. I have picked up the tarot cards and put them down. And it was just a time to be quiet. I looked at astrology, pierced at it, but I couldn't get through it. It was just a time to be quiet and to experience. And what is my days have ended after sitting. Imagine a Buddhist priest sitting. You can comprehend a Buddhist priest sitting. That's what they know for, sitting and meditate. That's what I've been doing. And one of the first experiences I've had over the last month or so is sitting with the Buddhist priest. I would say trying to get you to see in spirit what I've been going through, dealing with, what I've been. I'm sitting with a Buddhist priest, and the priest is ministering to me. This is we'll say Buddhist priest. I don't know what they call it officially. A Buddhist priest that has ascended. The Buddhist priest that has ascended, the ultimate ascension, reached nirvana, is one that looks like, if you ever heard of like the Buddhist priests that sit, they get in a lotus pose or whatever they do, and they sit there. And they've been sitting there for 50 years. They haven't moved. They look the same. They went ultimate Zen. They just been meditating for 50 years, 75 years, 100 years. They don't even get up to go to the bathroom. That's the Buddhist priest I've been sitting with. So, what I learned during that experience is, now the reality is that these priests are dead. That's how it is in reality. The culture depicts them as alive. I hope y'all can ride the wave with me on this. This is what I've been into. The culture in which these priests or the race, nationality that these priests are, am I gone? I'm lying now? Are associated with. What do they do? Okay. Present them or perceive them as still living people that are still in deep meditation. If I'm understanding, this is what my understanding. But the reality is these priests are dead. These priests went on a journey. How can I say it? I'm trying to explain who I've been sitting with. So one day, in reality, one day the priest had a calling. I'm trying to explain it. In reality, somewhere over there in Tibet or wherever they at. One day a priest had a calling. It had to be called. And the priest decided on this day, he tells the rest of his temple, on this day, I'm going to begin my meditation. And we're going to say on August 1st of 2020, I'm going to begin my meditation. So the temple prepares with the priest to go into this meditation on August 1st, 2020. August 1st, 2020 comes, the priest has this location because it's prepared. Everybody prepared. Celebration. Let's get this priest everything he needs to do this meditation. And so the priest sits down in his lotus pose or whatever pose he in to do his meditation. He goes into meditation. 70 years pass. It's August 1st, 2070. 2090. This is just an example of, I don't know if it makes sense. This is just my example of what has occurred in this real world with some real priests. So, August 1st, 2090, the priest, if I'm saying it right, has been in meditation 70 years. The culture says these priests have ascended, or this priest has ascended. In reality, the priest is dead. That priest sat there and meditated themselves until they were dead. And so they're still in the same pose, the lotus, sitting meditation position. Does it make sense? So what did the priests go through, I guess I can say, to ascend to the level in which they were able to maintain that state of meditation? Well, before the priest sat to meditate, y'all ride the wave with me. That priest may not have eaten, may have fasted for a few days. Why eat? That priest may not have drunk any fluids for many days. Why drink? That priest may have released their emotional bonds to others. And so they sat. They sat through the physical processes that the body goes through, shutting down. Everything from hunger, they meditated through that pain. They meditated through the communion with the spirit associated with starvation, hunger, to the point one begins to starve until they die. It's a process. They sat and communed with them spirits and ascended those spirits. In physicality, they died. But in reality, do you know the strength, the wisdom, the enlightenment that a person, the priest, an example, would have to endure to not go get something to eat when the spirit is trying to torture and taunt them to get a slice of bread that's right there? The priest sat and they did battle with those entities, is what I'm saying, until they ascended this reality. Do you know what strength it took not to satisfy the spirit associated with thirst? You know? And then the process of drying out. They set this preset that spirit of thirst to the point of dehydration, to the point of dying out, to the organs shutting down. They sat there and never showed any trauma. Does that make sense to you? They ascended. We're talking about the various natural processes in our bodies that we go through that we break. Like, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get a slice of bread. I got to urinate. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm thirsty. I'm going to get that. No, these priests that ascended, this is the ultimate ascension to nirvana, set and went again and then did battle with all of those beings and ascended. So, why am I talking about that priest example in their journey to nirvana and how they're still sitting and meditating? It's because that's who I've been sitting with. Now, I ain't got to the place where I ain't gonna eat. I can't renounce that. Or I ain't gonna drink. I ain't strong enough. But that's who I've been sitting with and communing with. This is what I've been doing. Then at night, I have been, I have been trained. Like I tell you, I've been walked. Whether y'all believe me or not, I've been walked. In all this that you see, I've been walked. Every night, I am being taught and walked to sit and to release. I don't know, I can say that explain. To release my attachment. This is scary, and I've been a little nervous about it. To release my attachment to my physical vessel and just be every single night. And that's been going on now for just that part about two weeks. And when I'm in the bed at that time, literally. When I say sitting, I can be anywhere with the sitting part. But literally, when I'm in the bed, I'm being, again, trained to release the attachment to my physical vessel and just be consciousness. Just be consciousness without the physicality, which I've been being trained on that for a while, but I didn't know it was going to keep elevating. And so I'm at this level now. So what happens when I'm able to tap into that just consciousness only for a second here and there? A lot of entities come. It's kind of scary. They come. And they look different. I can draw pictures of them. I might do that when I can hold on to it a little longer. They just come. They come. And all I can say, and this is what is making it difficult for me to hold the state of just consciousness, is that when these entities come, I'm like, who are you? I'm not speaking with my mouth, but in that consciousness, who are you? None of them are answering. It's like when I ask them, they move away. Who are you? It's kind of scary. It almost seems like, this is just what I've been going through, y'all. This is an Aquarius Rant. I said I was going to do some tarot. I'm not going to do tarot because I'm long-winded and I don't want this video to be much longer. I'll come back and do some tarot to see what's in store for July. I promise y'all. I'm gonna make a promise because I'm a woman of my word, so I'm promising y'all I'm gonna come back and make some videos. One video for everybody about July. So I just wanted to finish this Aquarius Rant. And so it's a little scary. I can look back. I made a video and it's not available. It's closed up to y'all. But I did just a random video years ago talking about how to just get in tune with yourself. And I talked about taking off all your bells and whistles, and I was sitting here on YouTube crying almost naked. And with my bald head, everything. I was on this, butt naked. Taking off all the bells and whistles, and I was talking about getting in tune with yourself. And now when I look back in retrospect, that's when I had been doing it in my own life, but I was sharing it with people that watch me on YouTube. So, I was already being walked to this. Everything happens in stages. It's been years, y'all. This has been years. And I know a lot of stuff is hard I'm sure, for many people to accept what I'm talking about. Number one, I call out the elephant in the room. Can a obese black woman be spiritual? Can I be divine? Is it possible? We have so many biases in the world. Most people just shut you down. It is my belief, because of my experiences, that everybody is made of spirit. And it's just like, are you going to listen to it when it talks to you? That's why I share my testimony, to let y'all know, hey, I know what I go through. I always tell you, I know what I go through. And so I was saying, hey, all that time, all them years ago, when, how can I say, it started like this many years ago. Example, how can I say, I give you example what I mean by saying, okay, a lot of people, I know women that can't walk out the house without makeup on. They can't even let their significant other see them without makeup. I done told y'all about these different stories in my life. They cannot. They are so self-conscious and things like that. And I told y'all different stories in my life where, I go outside without no bells and whistles. And 1 minute I got a piece of hair on and an eyelash and an earring and some fingernails. I let them grow out. And the next day somebody might see me and I'd be completely just stripped of everything. When I had the youthful beauty, I possessed it. But it declined over the years. The abuse to myself, the overeating, the smoking cigarettes, I'm paying for it. But I still go out. It is me in the physical. Either I'm going to do something about it or I'm going to live with it. And so that's always been my mindset. And so I don't have those insecurities to the extent that they stop me from going out. What I'm saying? I can go out looking like however. I know that I was raised to present yourself a certain way, so I know to make sure I look decent when I go walk out the door. But are you getting what I'm saying? That I don't have those insecurities where I have to have makeup on. I have to have the bells and whistles. I got to have a girdle on. I don't have to have a bra on. You know what I'm saying? So these were things that I developed, over the course of my life, over my whole life. But I did not know, after all these years, this whole lot of years, we're talking about 20 something plus years, that I was going to be sitting here today talking to one of them ascended priests. That's deep. And so I'm sitting up talking to these sitting with the extended priests, and the conversation is not verbal with my lips. It is a telepathic communication, if you want to know, and sharing their ascension process to me, and showing, and then the rest of the world, wow and hell, and they're sharing the process with me. That's what's scary, because I'm talking about over 20 years. I'm 50, so it might be 30 years, more than 30 years, because I've always been like this all that time. So I'm saying, what am I saying? I'm saying the spiritual development that a person goes through, whether they are ascending or descending, doesn't happen overnight. In reality, right now, it's happened over my whole life. I may have lived other lives. I don't know. I don't know. I have some remembrances, but I don't bank on it. But over this life, it's been all these years. And today, after all my, self-abuse and negligence, I still get to sit with this advanced priest who is ascended. I never knew that. Like, I'm in the hood. I can be ghetto. And I get to sit. And then, like I said, the spirits, when I'm able to, go through those moments, because there are brief moments where I am just with my consciousness. I ain't advanced enough to do it right here, y'all. Y'all wouldn't be able to tell anyway, but I'm just consciousness. And the spirits come, and I ask them telepathically, again, it's not physical, who are you? Like, who are you to ask me this? You know what I'm saying? How do you know to ask me this? How do you see me? And for them to back away, like, And then just being in that space. When I say, that's where I am. That's what I'm personally dealing with, or going through or experiencing. And so I really don't have an interest in astrology or tarot now. And what I'm going through, how can I share it with you, ladies and gentlemen? I love it. I'm trying to share it, but how can I share it with you? It's unbelievable, number one. Due to biases, just unbelievable. Seeing in the spirit. I think, that's where my channel is going to go to next. I started with tarot. Then I went to making the predictions as I was guided to do so. But now it's seeing in the spirit. Because what? Our next level of awareness has to do with seeing in the spirit. We won't make the necessary changes until we can see in spirit and not just the physical. Because seeing in the physical, we are not discerning. We are not, I talk about discernment, the church talk about discernment. We are not discerning. You have to be able to see in the spirit. It's interesting. Real interesting. Anyway, I can talk y'all ear off. Y'all know I'm long-winded, but thank you for your time. Watch out over the next couple of days. Hopefully, it's supposed to be 96 degrees here today, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. I don't know if I'm gonna make them tarot readings today, because 96 degrees, and chances are I'm gonna fall out somewhere. So maybe later this evening or early tomorrow morning. Because this is another thing, y'all. And I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm so happy. I had got so lazy, complacent, depressed, just everything, that I was sleeping to 10 and 11 o'clock. And the last few days, I've been able to get back up. When I was younger, I used to do this 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I love it. I love it. I used to, let me tell y'all, I'm just pointing tears. When I was in my 20s, I was always a different kind of person. I would get up in the morning at 5 o'clock. I'm young, 20. And I make some tea. And this was when I was more into the church. And I would just go out, sit on the porch. And the sun would rise on the east. And my house was always, some reason, every house I lived in, even this one, faces the east. So I would sit on the porch in the morning and I would watch the sun come up. And I would just talk and commune with God. God was always with me. Devils too. Devils and demons would be there too. But they never could stop me from communing with the Creator. And I ain't going to say I know who the Creator is. I just know that it's very instructional and it's very patient and it's gentle. And so 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I think the sun used to rise around 6 o'clock or so. I would be on the porch in the morning drinking tea. This one I was a little more health conscious too. And we would just talk. And it guided me and it protected me and it forewarned me of things and it just instructed. And so anyway, I lost that ability through the years. It wavered up and down through the challenges in life. And I say, I haven't been able to get up. Either again, depression, whatever, just overworked, tired, whatever the case may be. I would not get up before 10, 11 o'clock. And I would be so exhausted when I got up. But it's been in this last week. Y'all, I've been up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get outside, mess around in my garden, clean up outside. I'm advanced to coffee now that I'm older. Have my coffee or my bottle of water, whatever. And I get to commune again. It's wonderful. I feel free. So even though I'm walking through hell, and hell is being tailor-made for me. Only thing I got to do is dive into it and indulge it. So don't think I ain't saying I ain't in hell with everybody. I'm in hell. It is there. It's around me. I understand it. So I'm trying to stand strong. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I'm happy. I'm able to get up in the morning. My mind is strong. Like I said, during the quarantine, it can mess with a person's psyche. It can lead to some insanity and depression. For many, I'm sure that is happening based on what I'm seeing. For me, it is not the case. And I'm so happy. I am so grateful. I got to confess this. That was a point during this quarantine. I'm sorry I didn't read it forever. I got my glasses off and I'm just running my mouth. It was a point during this quarantine where I felt the break, my psyche breaking. I said, oh, divinity. I said, I feel it. I can feel it. I think I need some help. And that's when the Buddhist monk, I'm talking about journey, the one on the journey, came to me. And he started ministering to me, which is interesting. And it strengthened me. Ouch. Finger hurt. Strengthened me. Just like that. And then getting up in the mornings was the next level. Getting up early in the morning again. It's wonderful, y'all. It's wonderful. So, what am I saying? Yes, I don't know what you're experiencing, but I have an idea. I think I have an idea. You let me know. I could be wrong. Say, Nancy, you're downright wrong. But if I am correct, which I think I am, take the time to, try to release yourself from these various attachments in the world. Mentally. Just let it go for a moment. It ain't going nowhere. Let it go and see what happens. When I say, y'all, I feel like there's something here that is willing to help us, but we have to be aware that we need help. We have to be aware of where we want to go. That is to say, heaven or hell. Remember, there's a physical heaven, hell, and there's a mental heaven, hell. It's totally up to us. And so this awareness is here. So if you're having a hard time now, don't give up. Take some time out. When I say get in tune with yourself, close the door, turn your cell phone off, close the door, close all the windows, get butt naked. Going back to that video I made some years ago, get butt naked, take off all the bells and whistles. You don't want to think about nobody, don't think about no heartbreak, don't think about no bill that ain't going nowhere. Just be in the moment. Who is it? Just be in the moment. Be in the moment with you, your consciousness. That's it. Bye, y'all. Till later. What do you say? Juanita, planting some green. Oh, you planting green beans? Give my 85-year-old mother something to take care of. There you go. Tell her to make a channel so I can learn how to grow something. If I can grow one thing, I'm gonna be so proud of myself. If them peppers come out the ground, y'all, and I get what they call some produce, or you know what I'm saying, y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. I'm telling you, I'm the Dundada. Till next time, bye. Now who up with me?